Whiskers was a very clever cat. He had soft ginger fur. He lived near a little boy named Tom. Tom always looked so very sad. Whiskers would watch Tom from the top of a wooden fence. The sun might be shining brightly in the big blue sky, but Tom hardly ever smiled. Whiskers' fluffy tail would twitch with a deep worry. He was a most observant and caring cat, you see. Tom lived in a very big, old grey house. The house always looked cold and unwelcoming. It looked cold even on the sunniest of summer days. Whiskers often saw Tom sitting sadly by a dusty window. Tom's eyes were often red and swollen. It looked as if he had been crying for a very long time. Whiskers felt a strange pull towards the little boy. He wanted to make Tom feel better. He truly wished to see Tom play and laugh like other children. One afternoon, Whiskers spotted Tom in the overgrown garden. Tom was sitting all alone on an old, creaky swing. The swing did not move at all. Tom just sat there, perfectly still. His small head was bowed down low. Whiskers decided then and there. He jumped down gracefully from the fence. He walked very slowly and carefully towards Tom. He did not want to startle the sad boy. Tom looked up. His eyes were big and very watery. Whiskers let out a soft, gentle meow. It was his friendliest, most comforting meow. Tom looked directly at Whiskers. For just a fleeting second, a tiny, tiny smile appeared on Tom's face. Then just as quickly it was gone again, but Whiskers had seen it. He knew there was happiness hidden inside Tom. It was just buried deep down. Whiskers rubbed his soft body against Tom's leg. Tom reached out a small hand and gently stroked Whiskers' warm fur. This was a good start, a hopeful beginning. Tom started to look out for Whiskers every single day, and Whiskers, being a loyal cat, always came when he could. They would meet secretly in the quietest part of the garden. This was when no one else was watching them. Tom would often share his small, simple snacks with Whiskers. Sometimes it was a little piece of dry bread. Other times it was a tiny morsel of cheese. Whiskers purred his loudest, happiest purr. He enjoyed the snacks very much, but he liked Tom even more. Their friendship was a special, quiet secret they shared. Tom would whisper his many worries and fears to Whiskers. Whiskers would listen patiently, his head tilted to one side. He would blink his big, green, understanding eyes. Of course, Whiskers did not understand all the human words, but he truly understood the deep sadness in Tom's soft voice. He would gently nudge Tom's hand with his furry head. It was his own special cat way of saying, "I am here for you, Tom." Tom always felt a little bit braver with Whiskers nearby. He felt less alone in that big, gloomy grey house. Sometimes Tom had new, nasty bruises on his skin. They were small, dark, painful marks on his little arms. Whiskers would lick them very gently with his rough tongue. He would let out a soft, low growl at the unseen hurt. He wished so much that he could fight away all the sadness. He wished he could make all those horrid bruises disappear forever. Tom would hug Whiskers tightly then. Whiskers was so warm and wonderfully soft. He was a real comfort, a furry, purring, loving comfort to the lonely boy. Whiskers often saw mean-looking grown-ups inside Tom's house. They shouted a lot, their voices loud and very angry. Tom would flinch and cower whenever they shouted like that. Whiskers' ginger fur would stand on end. He did not like these mean grown-ups one bit. He knew deep in his cat heart that they were the real reason for Tom's unending sadness. He knew they were the reason for all the painful bruises. Whiskers started to think very hard. He needed to help Tom. He was a clever cat after all, and clever cats make plans. One dreadful afternoon, the shouting from the house was terribly loud. It was much, much louder than ever before. Tom was crying, his sobs loud and heartbreaking. Whiskers heard him clearly from the garden. He felt a sudden surge of great courage flow through him. He simply had to do something to help. He could not just sit and watch Tom suffer anymore. He raced towards Tom's bedroom window. He meowed as loudly as he could. He scratched insistently at the window glass. "I am here, Tom, I am here," he tried to say. Tom heard Whiskers and saw him at the window. He managed to open the window just a tiny little bit. His small face was wet and streaked with fresh tears. "Oh, Whiskers," he sobbed, his voice trembling. Whiskers quickly jumped inside the room. He rubbed himself lovingly against Tom's leg. Then he looked pointedly towards the bedroom door. He meowed again, but this meow was different. It was a clear, "Follow me," meow. Whiskers had a plan. It was a brave and very clever plan indeed. He wanted Tom to come with him now. Whiskers darted quickly to the back door of the house. The door was locked, of course, but wait! There was a small cat flap built into the bottom of it. The mean grown-ups must have forgotten all about the little cat flap. Whiskers easily pushed his way through it. He immediately looked back at Tom, who was watching nervously. He meowed again, this time very urgently. "Come on, Tom, you can do it! Be brave like me!" His meows seemed to plead from the other side of the door. Tom was very, very scared. His heart was beating like a drum, but he looked at Whiskers' determined little face. Whiskers looked so sure, so brave. Tom took a deep, shaky breath. He decided he had to trust his furry friend. He slowly got down on his hands and knees. He started to crawl towards the small cat flap. It was a very tight squeeze for a boy, but he wiggled and pushed and he made it through. He was outside. Whiskers licked Tom's hand. Then Whiskers started to run. Tom followed his amazing furry hero. Away from the sad grey house they went. Whiskers led Tom through the streets and into a big green park. There were many kind-looking people enjoying the sunshine in the park. A nice lady with a friendly dog saw Tom. She noticed that he was all alone and looked very upset. She came over and asked him gently if he was okay. Tom was very shy and scared to speak, but he pointed a small finger towards Whiskers. Then he pointed back in the direction of the awful grey house. He could not say many words, but the kind lady understood. She saw the terrible fear in his young eyes. The kind lady quickly used her telephone to call for help. Soon 2 gentle police officers arrived in a shiny car. They spoke to Tom very softly and kindly. Whiskers stayed right by Tom's side the whole time. He purred and purred, trying to keep Tom calm and brave. Tom managed to tell them a little bit about all the shouting. He told them about the mean grown-ups. The police officers listened very carefully to every word. They promised Tom that they would help him. They promised he would be safe from now on. Tom was taken to a wonderful new home. It was a bright and cheerful house, full of sunshine. Kind people who smiled a lot lived there. They gave Tom a glass of warm milk and some delicious cookies. And the best news of all, Whiskers was allowed to stay with Tom. They were given a soft, warm bed to share in a cozy room. Tom slept soundly that night for the very first time in a long, long time. He knew he was finally safe. He knew Whiskers was his true hero, his very own guardian angel cat. Soon, Tom started to smile much more often. He even started to laugh and play full of joy, just like Whiskers had always wanted him to. Whiskers would watch him play, his long tail swaying happily from side to side. The big, grey, sad house was far away now, just a bad memory. Tom had a new wonderful family, a loving and caring family, and most importantly he had Whiskers, his brave, clever, ginger cat, his very best friend in the whole wide world. Together they had found a new sunny place, a place full of hope, laughter and endless happiness.